It's probably the most successful fintech company you have never heard about in terms of numbers. Please come on stage, Dave, and we have Mayur. Where are you from, Mayur?
Zimbabwe.
Are you from Zimbabwe?
Yes. Yeah.
There was a big carbon credit scandal in Zimbabwe from South Pole. Do you know about that one?
I do not. I claim no responsibility either.
Fab. Cool. So thank you very much. My name is Dave Easton. I'm a partner at Generation Investment Management. Very quickly, we are a London-based sustainable investment firm who've been around for 20 years. We actually had our 20th birthday party in this room about 4 weeks ago. And we manage about $45 billion. I invest in our growth equity strategy, $50 to $150 million. But that's boring. We should talk a bit about M-Kopa. As in the intro just said, M-Kopa, I think, is a fintech company that relatively few people in London will have heard of, even though it's a London headquartered company. Can you just give a sense of how big it is and what it does?
Great. Thanks very much. We are one of Africa's largest consumer fintech businesses. Today we operate in 5 markets: Kenya, Uganda, Nigeria, Ghana, and South Africa. To give you a sense of the scale of the business, we're a $300 million plus revenue company. We are serving over 4 million customers. We're growing rapidly at the moment. We're acquiring about 1 million customers every 6 months. And importantly, we are also profitable on a PAT basis as well.
Brilliant. And can you say a little bit about sort of the target customer that you reach? Because I think it's a target customer that I've been interested in financial inclusion for a long time, but it's a customer that has been very hard to reach for a really long period of time. And how it is that you do that.
Yeah. So we think about the customers we serve as everyday earners. These are people who are ultimately the backbone of many of the economies in Africa. They are the mainstay of the informal economy, and they're people who are running hair salons or small business retail shops or secondhand shoe repair companies, etc. And they are primarily excluded from the existing financial ecosystem. Our customers earn on average about $200-300 a month. They don't have the ability to save up to get an asset, nor do they have the ability to show any proof of income in order to get access to credit. And those consumers represent about, we're talking hundreds of millions of people within Africa. There are about 350 million people who are not banked in Africa right now. There are 300 plus million people who are aspiring smartphone customers but don't have the access to cash right on hand to be able to purchase something upfront on that basis. So this is the kind of people that we serve.
I mean, but there's a reason they're pretty hard to serve, right? Because they're not in the formal financial sector. There's no credit scoring on them. It's pretty hard to reach them from a sort of go-to-market perspective. How can you provide financial services to them when other people haven't been able to?
Yeah. So our entry point into serving customers as their trusted financial partner is a bit different from existing players. So the entry point that we have focused on is helping them begin that journey by financing a smartphone, in many cases their first smartphone, that they then use to help improve their livelihood. And the way we do it is we have an embedded mobile technology in the asset itself that locks and unlocks the device. So customers pay a small deposit, $20 to $25, and then they'll pay 50 cents a day on a daily basis. And it matches the way they earn their money. People earn their money on a daily basis. They don't earn it monthly, and that's how we've built our model. What we then do once consumers have that asset, because it's secured, you have suddenly a piece of material that they've got equity in. There is an asset that you can then lend further against. And so once customers take the first smartphone with us, we then embed and layer on top additional financial services. That includes digital cash loans, the ability to access health insurance, and all of these things are things that they can't access up front. So for example, even if you're trying to get health insurance for yourself and your family, you're talking a couple of bucks at the start of a month. That's too much of a stretch if you're earning $200-300. And so instead, what we can do is take someone's existing billing relationship with us, where they're paying us 50 cents a day, and say, would you like health insurance? That's an extra 10 cents a day. And it's because of the way we've built our financial services that matches the way they earn their money that's actually proven a large part of our success.
And just to give me a sense of how significant M-Kopa is in the lives of customers, how would you characterize the relationship?
Yeah, it's when people tend to think about consumer fintech or credit companies, they can often think about that as quite a niche player in someone's life. But actually for our customers, we are the most important trusted financial partnership that they've got. So to give you a sense of the scale of what that looks like, we collect our ARPU per customer is about 3x a telco's ARPU. We give our customers the most amount of leverage they've ever had in their life. They put down $20 and they can get access to something that's worth over $150. And so for us, that's the basis of the relationship with us. People don't think of us as a credit provider. They think of us quite like their bank, where they can access additional services that they otherwise couldn't have on the basis of the way they earn their money.
I mean, that brings us on to I'd say consumer fintech's been is an industry that's maybe fallen out of favor a little bit, particularly credit-based, right? So people love payments businesses, people love, primary bank account businesses, but like consumer credit is not I would say having its moment for investors. Yeah. How do you think about M-Kopa relative to sort of other consumer credit companies?
Yeah, I can understand, why that's been the case, at an industry level. I mean, I think that's a story largely of much more mature markets, where the lending relationship is as a digital provider. And so in that model, you're thinking about, if I'm a credit provider, this is a highly substitutable product I'm offering. It's a race to the bottom in terms of price. But actually in the markets that we operate, the approach is quite different. So we aren't competing with others to acquire a customer by bidding on advertising. The way we've had to access our consumers because of where they are is through building our own direct distribution field force. And so right now we have 25,000 monthly active selling agents who sell in their village, in the marketplace, in their neighborhood, to people that they know. And so it is a proprietary origination strategy. So we're fundamentally not competing with others. We're also serving customers, in many cases, for the first time. So it's not as if they can go to elsewhere to get the kinds of services. 50% of our customers today are first-time internet users. It's the first time they're coming into the digital economy. And so this isn't a space where we're a niche lending player in a highly substitutable context. This is quite different than kind of more mature market consumer credit.
One of the things I think that's sort of, interesting / difficult about operating in emerging markets is the extent to which sort of vertical integration ends up being a key part of what you have to do. Would love to hear a little bit about the journey that M-Kopa's been on in building vertical integration and just how many things that the company actually has to do.
Yeah, there's no getting around it. The markets we operate in are hard. The good news, though, if you're operating in a really hard market and you can do it at scale and profitably, it's really hard for others to follow as well. And so if you think about the way we've had to kind of build our business, it would be lovely if we were operating in a place where we could just build great software and that would scale very organically. But I think the story of emerging markets is that doesn't work. You've got to match it with an incredible great ground game as well. And so the places we've had to invest significantly in that is partly through the sales channel, which I've kind of shared with you. But we've also had to do that by thinking about how we even source some of the underlying products. And so in some of our markets, for example, in Kenya, we've actually got into the full supply chain, not only sourcing the product from third parties, but actually now locally assembling our own smartphones that come with embedded financial services. We were the first company in Kenya to build a local assembly smartphone business, and today we've done 1 million phones off that manufacturing line. And to give you a sense of what that means, if you're building the kind of full stack, both the software and the effective ground game, you're effectively finding places to also get additional margin. So in our business, our margin doesn't just come from the lending side, the finance income, but it also comes from the distribution. That would have been a margin you would have given to someone else in a more mature market. We have that. And then even on the assembling and manufacturing. So you're getting the 3 chances to kind of bite at the apple to build a sustainable business.
Brilliant. And maybe final question, it's taken sort of 10 years for M-Kopa to get to whatever it is, $400 million of revenue, and 4 million customers. Give me a picture of the next 5 years.
Yeah, so the next 5 years for us, we are scaling fast and we'll continue to do so. Our goal is to hit 10 million active customers That is the trajectory we're on. We're currently operating in 5 markets, but we'd like to be in 8 markets in the next 3 years. And we'd like to be a business that's really at the core of the financial relationship with everyday earners. And that's millions and millions of customers across Africa, but also potentially beyond the continent that we serve right now.
Cool. Thanks very much.